Lately, we have seen and heard a lot of statements and actions on the part of European politicians that are mind-boggling. Why do you see they display this exorbitant support of the Kiev regime, and no one has been thinking about the European values, and they've been just supporting the Kiev for no reason, and they're even ready to pursue a conflict with the U.S. president? Well, this outrageous policy, as you put it, I've just tried to account for that, answering the question by the colleague from BBC. They are trying to cover up their mistakes, to conceal their mistakes. In economy and finance, and they got in a gauge, and so it is very hard for them to move rightwards or leftwards. With respect to a possible conflict with the US president, there is nothing surprising about that, and it's obvious for any observer. The European elites used to support the Democratic Party and Madam Harris during the presidential campaign in the United States, and they were quite brazen in that, quite straightforward. Once President Trump was accused of meddling with elections, but nothing was proved, and all the Congress investigations ended in nothing. However, the political elites of Europe directly interfered, and that was quite blatant and obvious and uncovered. And they now hope that after the midterm elections next year, the political landscape will change a bit, and their traditional allies will be back on track, and they will put more pressure on Donald Trump. This is why they are so insolent in the view of the forthcoming midterm Congress election. With respect to separate political figures, they have been conducting themselves in an aggressive way, an unprofessional way, I think. Let's come back to domestic developments. And one final point with respect to those aggressive statements and declarations. I marvel at them. And I personally know the current NATO Secretary-General, the former Prime Minister of the Netherlands. I used to pay a visit to the Netherlands, and he's a smart person, a clever person, a systemic one, and an efficient one. He used to be an efficient Prime Minister, and the economy of the Netherlands is in a good shape, and this is partly his merit. But now he's talking nonsense. Why are you talking this nonsense about a prospective war with Russia? They want to get ready and brace themselves for a war with Russia. Can you just read the new strategy, national security strategy of the United States, and it says that the United States is a key player and the founder and the main sponsor of NATO, and the bulk of the funding comes from the United States, as well as the ordnance and hardware and weapons. So the new U.S. strategy, security strategy, Russia is not indicated as an enemy, as a target. While the Secretary-General of NATO is bracing himself for a war with us. Why so? Can he read You are indisposing NATO against Russia, to wage a war with Russia. At the same time, the backbone country of NATO does not consider us to be an enemy. I would question the level of professional competence. You should be quite attentive about your own duties, and you should also be open to what is happening around you.